Good, happy Sunday evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast. Let's get started. We have a ton of news to begin this Sunday evening. A lot happening in Texas over the last hour and hours today, and we are gonna bring you up to date on everything that is happening in Texas. Let's begin. First up, nursing home residents rescued from waist-deep flooded water. A photo of a handful of elderly residents submerged in waist-deep flooded water spurred an emergency evacuation of the nursing home Sunday. Timothy tweeted a photo of the El Viata Bella nursing home in Dickinson, Texas. Timothy took to Twitter looking for any emergency help in the morning, and by noon he tweeted an update saying the residents had been rescued. And here's a photo of that for you. Flooded the whole nursing home. He also tweeted, "Thank you to the National Guard and Galveston City emergency crews for rescue." City opening George R. Brown MultiService centers. Houston mayor announced plans Sunday morning to open multi-service centers, public libraries, and George Brown Conservation Center as shelters for those who were forced to leave their homes due to flooding. At Sunday's press conference, Turner said Public Works listed 60 barricaded locations as of midnight. There are more than 700 structural flooding reports, with Houston police and firefighters responding to more than 2,000 calls for rescues. As of 6 a.m., 2 apartment complexes were evacuated at 802 Cimarron and 400 Greens Road. Those residents were taken to a Red Cross shelter. In addition to the city's multi-service center, the mayor has requested the Chinese Community Center to be reopened to shelter up to 200 people. Metro has suspended light rail and bus service, but they are working to transport people to shelters. To assist residents, and city has 39 dump trucks, 4 high water vehicles, and 11 boats out. Texas Task Force has 20 high water vehicles they have deployed, as well, with 5 more expected to arrive from the military task force. Another 40 boats will be brought in from various agencies to help residents later in the day, Sunday as well, according to the mayor's office. The mayor reminded residents to not go into their attics to escape rising waters. The city is still at risk of flooding conditions through much of the coming week. Do not call 911 unless you are in life-threatening emergency. If you can't get through 911, hang up immediately and try again if it is an actual emergency. Harvey, unpredictable, flooding beyond anything expected in the Houston area. Houston is being inundated with unpredictable flooding after a furious Hurricane Harvey set in over the Texas Gulf Coast this weekend, dumping torrential rain on the city with no end in sight for days. This is an unpredictable, and all impacts are unknown and beyond anything experienced. Following orders from officials to ensure safety, the National Weather Service said Sunday morning. And we have a few photos to show you. Take a look at those two photos. The flooding comes after the hurricane, which has now left at least 3 dead after it bashed the Texas coast, left buildings and parts of communities submerged. In Houston, there were more than 1,000 calls for rescues, and people were forced to their rooftops. A third death was confirmed Sunday by Lamarco, Texas Mayor Bobby Hawking. The body of a 52-year-old man was found at a Walmart on I-45. Lamarco is about 38 miles southeast of Houston and the Gulf Coast. The second person who died in Houston was swept away, according to Art Avaco's Houston Police Chief. Officials said another person died in a coastal city of Rockport. And now some local news around New Hampshire and Boston. Manchester police investigated separate gun crimes happening 1 hour apart. Manchester police are investigating 2 separate crimes involving guns that happened about an hour apart from each other overnight Saturday. The most serious of the 2 is an attempted murder that happened in a park in the area of 207 Pine Street. Police learned about it when a 17-year-old boy walked into Catholic Medical Center shortly after midnight with non-life-threatening gunshot wounds to his face. The teenager explained that he was sitting on a bench in the park when another male approached and shot him without provocation. The teen was able to get a ride to the hospital. Police canvassed the area and found a shell casing. Witnesses say a yellow motor vehicle fled the scene at a high speed just after the shooting. Police say they seized the suspect's vehicle, which had blood and ballistic evidence in it, after finding it on Main Street. The teen victim was brought to Dartmouth Hospital for more treatment and possible surgery. In a separate case, police are also investigating gunshot fired around 10 p.m. at 377 South Main Street. witness said a dark-colored, possible green four-door station wagon with 2 kayaks or canoes on the roof drove past the residence several times. The 2 men inside eventually parked across the street and got out of the car. One man pulled out either a tan or silver handgun with a laser sight attached, pointing it at the ground. Both men yelled at people at the address, claiming someone had thrown something at their car and they were going to shoot them. The men then got back in their car and drove north on South Main Street. A short time after that, 3 to 4 gunshots were heard. The car continued north on South Main Street, then east on Granite Street, and before disappearing in the area of Canal Street. A shell casing was found in the area of South Main Street. Police asked anyone with information on either of the incidents to call them the Manchester Police Detective Divisions at 603-668-8711 or the Manchester Crime Line at 603-624-4040. Potential bus strike could impact Worcester's first day of school. Schools will be opening Monday morning as scheduled in Worcester after a potential strike by bus drivers was discussed over the weekend. Worcester Mayor Joseph Petty said bus drivers will be taking students to school as planned, but a deal has not been reached between the teammates, a local 170 union, and Durham Bus Company. The Telegram reports the district has a contract with Illinois-based company, which has reached an impasse with the union that represents the bus drivers. A representative of Teamsters Local 170 told the newspaper that members have been working without a new contract since December. We're following some breaking news in Maine. Coast Guard searching for missing boat off Saco, Biddeford coast. Officials with Maine Marine Patrol said crews recovered a body of a missing boater off the coast of Biddeford Pool Sunday. Coast Guard officials said they got reports of the boat had capsized 10 miles off the coast at 10:40 a.m. Marine Patrol officials said 4 people were on the 21-foot fishing boat when it started to capsize. They said 3 of those boaters were unharmed and were rescued by a nearby Good Samaritan. Officials said crews later recovered a body of a 4th boater identified only as a woman at 2:30 p.m. Maine Marine Patrol officials said no one on the boat was wearing life jackets. Several agencies were involved in the search. This is a developing story. Check back for further updates. Trump will travel to Texas on Tuesday. President Donald Trump will travel to Texas on Tuesday to review the state's efforts to recover from Hurricane Harvey. White House Press Secretary